Instructional video number 1 to address some of the issues that Woods Walker and I are discussing on that thread for the new archer, so we don't confuse him anymore. We want to clarify some things with some video demonstration. First of all, the first thing you want to do with your grip, you never want to grip the bow like this. First of all, as you can see, here's the string, and the string runs right up and down my arm. That's how you lose interest in archery rather quickly, especially with a 60-70 pound bow slapping your arm all the time. The easiest way to avoid that and obtain a torque-free grip is going back to an old standby from when you were a kid, Cowboys and Indians. Make a pistol with your hand, rotate your wrist 90 degrees, and drop. That puts your hand in the proper position for gripping the bow. So, you take the bow, point your hand at the target that you're going to want to shoot at. Notice that both my, I'm going to sit the bow down here real quick. Notice that both my arms are in T form. If you look at my body, I make a perfect T, or darn close to it. Now, make that pistol, rotate 90 degrees, bring the bow into your hand, raise the bow into T form in the general direction of the target. You'll see that these three fingers are virtually doing nothing. I can sit here and play with these things all day long and they're not affecting anything. But you can also see, the bow would quit tipping back, you can also see that no matter what I do with these fingers, that bow is not moving anywhere. There's no torque going into that bow. Now, when you load your arrow to shoot, for the next step in the sequence, now that you've got your grip, you bring that bow up and you're in your T form. You know the arrow is pointed in the general direction of the target. You bring this arm in, under. Notice the elbow is in line or slightly elevated above the end of the arrow. So it's in line with the arrow. I come back, and as I'm drawing back, I'm inhaling. And I'm a little high on my anchor point. So as I exhale, I come down into my anchor point. That puts everything where I need to be. Now, I start my back muscles, and since I'm shooting fingers, I begin to relax my fingers. And the shot is fired. By doing that, you're eliminating all the arm muscles from the shot process. When you're holding that bow, the pressure in the V between your thumb and your index finger locks your wrist into your forearm, which pushes the pressure back through your forearm into your elbow and into your lower arm, and then ultimately up into your shoulder, which pushes the pressure back into your back, into your spinal column. So, when you're drawing back, this does not move. What Woods Walker and I are talking about, and kind of miscommunicating with each other on it, is Woods Walker is talking about people drawing their bow like this and coming down as a sign of being overbowed, and you're using more muscles so you can reef the bow back, and you're using your body weight going backwards to draw the bow. What I'm talking about is not that. In your shot sequence, there are guys that will pull up, draw, anchor, and will start to aim and realize that they've only lifted their arm up so far. They haven't gone into T form. Then they have to raise their arm into the aiming sequence, which imparts muscles along like the triceps and a little bit of the forearm muscles into the shot. which can create torque. What I'm talking about is you point at the target generally, come back to your draw point. When you start your aiming sequence, you should be above the bullseye, and when you exhale, that brings you down into or slightly above the bullseye, and then you can adjust downward. It takes all the pressure off the arm muscles, the shoulder muscles, the upper arm muscles in holding that bow up, because you're now forcing your body to hold up. Whereas here, you're coming into a natural settle down sequence and it's locked. That's the difference in what we're talking about. Woods Walker was misinterpreting what I was saying as somebody who was drawing from here coming up or drawing from here coming down. That's not what we're trying to say. What we're trying to say is in T form, as you draw, you inhale, which raises the bow up. When you hit your anchor point and start your aiming sequence, you exhale, which lowers the bow down. Naturally, that's your natural body movement. Every time you inhale, your body will raise the bow up. Every time you exhale, your body will lower the bow down. When you exhale, you have approximately 6 to 8 seconds where you have a good sight picture for aiming. Most people that I know have the shot fired in less than 3 seconds. 3 to 5 seconds. So, back, anchor, start the back tension, relax the fingers. Eventually the holding weight of the string gets to be more than your fingers can hold back. The string pushes your fingers out of the way and travels forward, as opposed to you snapping the fingers away from the string, which causes a much more aggravated oscillation in the string. With a release, you don't have that string oscillation problem, but everything else is the same. The release, you come in, you start your back tension, and you have your finger laying on the trigger, and that slight backwards motion of your hand will put the pressure you need on the trigger, and then the shot goes away. You'll notice when I fire my shot with a finger that with my fingers that my hand ends over here by my shoulder. My drawing arm's travel ends over here at my shoulder. That's because the tension in my back muscles the tension of my back muscles being flexed together continues to pull my arm back. Until such point as it hits the target. That's the basic shot sequence. Come up, you're breathing. I'm exaggerating this for motion. Inhale, your arm, see what my body's doing. I inhale, my arms come up. I exhale, my arms come down. And it's happening to my whole body. What Woods Walker and I are talking about, such as the push-pull method, what happens a lot with the push-pull is people forget that they're extending their arm. You don't want to do that. You just want this arm to be stationary. Boom. That's it. There's nothing push-pull. There's no collapsing your arm, bringing your arm in to the motion of the string. None of that stuff. That's all eliminated. You'll also notice that as I push, my shoulder changes position. By eliminating that forward push, you come back, anchor, and everything's occurring on this side of your body. Although you are flexing both sets of deltoid muscles here, most of it's coming on your bow arms, on your drawing arm side. The only motion in my arm is keeping the, since I don't have a wrist sling on it, is keeping the bow from jumping out of my hand. So I hope that clears up some of the stuff for you. Thanks.
Wait, you wanted it off?